This is Joe Cole.
This is Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and you're listening to the London is Blue podcast.
All right, Chelsea fans, welcome back to another episode of the London is Blue podcast. As always, host Brandon, join my host Nick. No Dan, he is off on a lovely, lovely little vacation with his wife Terry. So instead, we've got DPZ David Pastor from We Ain't Got No History hanging out with us for the Spurs match review. DPZ, you ready for this one?
Ready as I'll ever be.
The dulcet tones are back, baby.
Good to be back.
Oh, man, there's going to be a lot going down on this one. Nick, we're super excited to get into it. But before we do, we have some urgent news on how Blues fans can help other fellow Blues fans.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys see. I've seen this across the Twitterverse. But on Friday, a car crashed into the Four Courts pub. This is the home of the Beltway Blues around the DC Metro. It hurt at least 3 staff members and 11 other patrons, I should say. The fire kind of engulfed the pub after the car crashed into it, which is a really scary thing. But as a part of the recovery efforts, there's a GoFundMe that's already exceeded its goal. I think they've already raised like $64,000 or something like that after a goal of $50,000. Just fantastic. We'll be donating 10% of our ad proceeds this week to help the cause as well, and just be a part of the community, because a lot of those folks came down and were super cool to come hang out with us in Charlotte and Orlando, and we want to help them get their pub back. So if you can help, if you are financially able to, GoFundMe.com/F/help-Ireland's-4 and we've tweeted out the link as well. But one kind of cool thing that they tweeted is that of all the fire that engulfed the inside of the place, their Paulo Ferreira jersey is still standing. Looks like it's relatively untouched as it looks today. So it's a pretty cool thing, and we hope that these guys get their pub back as soon as possible. I know that they're probably furious they couldn't watch the game together today at their home. So big shouts to everyone there. Big love. Hopefully everyone's okay.
Absolutely. Got to meet so many of them when we're on the East Coast. Even some flew out to Vegas as well. So great people. Again, a couple bucks will go a long ways for this group as they have to literally rebuild their pub and everything. So hope everyone can recover as well. That's quite scary. Right. So what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be talking about how Chelsea...
Big one. It's a big one. It's a large episode. Packed. Meaty, if you will.
Yes. That lived up to all the hype. So we're going to be talking about how Chelsea did put on a show against Spurs, per usual. Then we're talking about Anthony Taylor and VAR conspiring to help Spurs equalize twice, per usual. And then Tuchel and Conte clash thrice, per usual. It's maybe a new tradition we've got in this one.
A tradition like no other.
Holy shit. All right. Well, anyways, in Dan's absence, Nick, we're going to go ahead and have you run the 3-word match reviews for this one, since you got to scan all the juicy takes.
There were many, many responses. I tried to pick the best one, so if you don't hear yours, I apologize. But from Discord, big skillet with Tuchel Conte fight, and there's a Mortal Kombat thing. Apparently, someone dubbed Beyonce in as one of the combatants. That's fun. Jason Cassidy with Spurs needed 12. Kate followed suit with 11v12. JKT 10890 with Taylor versus Chelsea. Our good friend Sam, CFC Central, with VAR, which is very apparent robbery. That was good. Tano Overall, of course, with campaign against Chelsea, the old Mourinho trope from back in the day. PRP with they'll finish 5th to Tottenham, hopefully, not to us. That'd be a tough beat on top of that. M. Dempsey CPA with sign a finisher. Fair enough. Classic 86, scared for Conte. We'll get into that in a minute. Big Skillet with see a February 25th, and Tom Norwood with the date as well on February 25th. So a lot of people looking forward to the return leg of this one, Brandon.
I can understand why. There's a lot to get into it, and I can understand the themes on these for sure. Just sometimes wish life would be a little bit simpler. Anyways, Nick, what was your 3-word match review?
Forgot about Tuchel. This is to the Tuna forgot about Dre. There's been a lot of Conte talk this year so far. It's almost as if Tuchel's quite the coach. So, forgot about Tuchel.
Oh, I thought you meant like his reach or something when when the prize fight happens.
Oh, I mean, he's what he probably has
6'4".
yeah,
He's just gonna hold him. He's
the
gonna
reach.
hold him like this. Yeah.
I put Chelsea can shitbag Kai, Mason, Reece, Koulibaly, like Cucurella. People were ready to just go at it today, and I absolutely love seeing that. And that's the fighting spirit that Diego Costa back in the day brought to the team. We wanted to see that. We thought we were going to lose with Rudiger. I actually think we're going to be pretty good this season as far as stepping up to challenges, putting our chest into someone's face, and just towing up people eye to eye. So yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
It's nice to see everybody always step it up against Spurs. I mean, I think everybody understands.
Yeah, well, clearly after today. What about you, DPZ?
Oh, say like robbed by a referee, daylight robbery, third word, I don't know.
Overly prepared for this section.
Oh, definitely.
Just off the top of my head, I've got a couple that we can dance with. Very understandable. I just think
F. Taylor.
There you go. You probably get a lot of likes on that tweet. Just setting the stage, the temp check before we get into the pod. So before we jump all the way into it, a huge shout out to Christopher and Steven for joining us on Patreon. We didn't have any new Apple Podcast reviews, so I don't know if that's because Dan's out. You're afraid he wasn't going to read it, but don't worry, we can handle it even if he's not here. So leave the 5 stars. We really appreciate it. And same thing with Spotify. We're pushing for 1,500. I think our average is 4.9, which is pretty good since perfection is quite largely unattainable. So thank you guys for the support and that and just helping us be seen and be found all over the world because the reviews are literally worldwide, which is fun. But let us jump into it. It was Tottenham Hotspur this past Sunday, the 14th of August, and it was in the Premier League at home, our newly updated aesthetically Stamford Bridge. In case you somehow missed it, Chelsea 2, Spurs 2 goals coming from Kalidou Koulibaly in the 19th minute. Then Spurs equalizing with Højbjerg in the 68th, 66th minute, something like that. Reece James recapturing the lead in the 77th minute. And then Harry Kane, interestingly enough, scored in the 90 plus 6th minute. So thank you to Chelsea. We're going to run it over the fifth standout for the highlights just to remind you exactly what happened. So, thanks for letting us use the highlights. Download the fifth standout. Here we go. All right, Nate, you can take us through the lineup for this Battle of the Bridge.
A yellow card awarded Edouard Mendy for time wasting, apparently, which I thought was like bold considering all the other bullshit that was happening.
He wasted 5 seconds in the 62nd minute.
Yeah.
And Anthony Taylor said, that's a yellow card.
You'll note that no Spurs player had a yellow card, so that was really interesting. Reece James resuming right center back role, Thiago Silva in the middle, Kalidou Koulibaly on the left with a goal. Ruben Loftus-Cheek playing right wing back, a role that's starting to look very, very good for him. N'Golo Kante and Jorginho in midfield, and Cucurella at left wing back. Kai Havertz, Raheem Sterling, and Mason Mount make up your front three. It was pretty fluid front three all day. And subs bench, Kepa, Christian Pulisic, Trevoh Chalobah, Armando Broja, Cal, Ben Chilwell, Hakim Ziyech, Conor Gallagher, Cesar Azpilicueta. More on old Cesar later on in the show. And the managers, because I feel like we need to talk about them in this one. Thomas Tuchel in one corner.
In the blue corner.
And Antonio Conte in the white corner. So the matchup to come.
No doubt everybody knows exactly who is managing these two sides today. It's the biggest talking point, and we'll save it for us. Tuchel leveraging the 4 subs out of 5 today. So not quite all of them, but some of the top line stats. Chelsea had 16 shots, albeit only 3 on target. Spurs had 10 shots with 5 on target. We had 65% of the possession. We had 9 fouls apiece, 3 cautions to none, as Nick pointed out earlier. A couple offsides to their 1 and 8 corners to their 5. So again, most things slanted pretty heavily in Chelsea's position. And then you had a NPET shithouse moment of the match, didn't you, Nick? And it was, there's quite a few, but I think this one definitely takes the cake.
I couldn't actually believe it when I saw it on the replay, but Thomas Tuchel decided to go full Mourinho at Old Trafford in 2004 on Porto's route to the Champions League final, and ran the full length of the touchline, of sideline, I should say, to go celebrate with the team, and did it right in front of Antonio Conte's face, of which he had a response later on Instagram, which was weak as fuck. This was ultra shithousey. Tuchel woke up today, Peasy, and chose violence, chose shithousery, and I appreciated it.
I'm not actually sure he chose it, but he definitely rose to the challenge that was laid down by Antonio, who clearly builds his games in his mind up to an extreme level, perhaps even higher than we would do, because we're living rent free in his mind for whatever reason still. And Tuchel kind of stepped it up on that goal, and you love to see it. There on the replay, you can see his assistant try to like stop him briefly to like, boss, this is not a good idea.
Maybe you don't want to do that.
Yeah, but like he clearly knows that there's no stopping it. There's no stopping Tuchel at this time.
I will also say, before we get to all the manager shenanigans later on, as we were all in Vegas and Orlando together, we noticed that Thomas Tuchel has about 4 or 5 big bodyguards that kind of walk around with him. And if you go watch the end of game shenanigans, you'll note that one of those large gentlemen just absolutely separates groups of people with his fucking shoulders. This cat is massive.
Yeah. The dude with the clean beard. You'll see him.
Oh my God, this cat is huge. So
the man with the trim beard and the very designer biceps. Yeah, don't mess with that guy.
Former special forces, without a doubt.
Just marched right through that whole group of people, and I was like, damn.
Yeah. No, he definitely parted that sea real quick. So absolutely shenanigan shithousery from Tuchel at the finest. I don't even think he made it to the players. I think he got halfway down and was like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm going to go back now.
Chelsea Youth did the new right wing back depth signing unveiled, which was just beautiful.
Tommy runs down the wing for me.
Yeah.
New chant. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and hit our ad break. When we get back, though, we're jumping right into the Blues putting on a show in Bowley's Funhouse and who all participated. So thank you to the sponsors for financially supporting the show. We're going to be right back. All right, getting into the business here. Obviously, we got more podcasts coming this week. Shirts are still available. Order them up. I'm getting them delivered. And we just have more content coming. This is week 3 in a row with Matt, right, Nick?
Yeah, 3 in a row with Matt. Obviously, lots to talk about. We cut out the transfer section of this podcast to just do it with Matt tomorrow. So that'll be out Tuesday, and then we have a bunch more content coming your way this week.
You don't want my insider opinions? Jeez. Fine.
David's going to break news on this show later, so stick around to the very end.
That's why we read the blog. Come on now. All right. Well, as we said earlier, the Blues put on a show in Bowley's Funhouse. There was an incredible atmosphere in the ground. Obviously, it was the season opener, so there's extra energy just, being back at the bridge again. And Chelsea played some incredible football in response. The ball moved fast today. Spurs, especially in the first half, maybe had one counter. I know Reece took his yellow kind of at the 35th minute, somewhere in there. He was man-marking Heung-min Son, by the way, which is and put us in some interesting situations, but it worked. Spurs were just defending. Kulusevski actually ended up being a second wingback because that's how far we were pushed down their side. And again, the Son Kane Kulusevski didn't click like they have been. By the way, since last January, because Spurs operate on a calendar year and not a Premier League schedule season. So,
as you know, that's how trophies are awarded.
They're doing great.
It's after the calendar year. They're very good. So, yeah.
But yeah, look, Naz had the tweet, said the atmosphere of this bridge was the best I've heard it for a long time. If fans could keep it up against less opposition, it could overturn the poor home record of last season. So again, Nick, we saw all of our friends tweeting about a new season back at the bridge. We knew there was going to be a ton of excitement, but the players came out and fucking peppered Tottenham right away.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it would be fair to say, like, I didn't know how this game was going to go. The prevailing wisdom throughout the media this week is that Spurs were going to come to Stamford Bridge and beat Chelsea because the form and, the fact that they were so dominant this calendar year, and all this stuff. And
2022 champions.
Yeah, I was I went on the BBC yesterday and debated a Spurs fan and I think crushed him. But I just saw this being a draw in my head. I thought both teams would try and cancel each other out, and I think Chelsea played way better than I thought they were going to. I think they came out swinging. I thought the way the ball moved kind of reminded me of Juventus last year. How quick things were around. I mean, like Spurs couldn't keep up with us, and they are fortunate that we did not finish a Kai Havertz chance in like the 78th minute to really put that thing to bed. But was really, really, really impressed with it. And I love seeing the bridge, PZ, when everyone's in full voice, everyone's at it. I mean, it's such a fun ground. And I've been there when it's like that and when it's not. And I know which one I'd prefer.
I mean, if you're ever gonna get up for a game, it's gonna be against Spurs, right? So it's good to see that happening. Add in the fact that it's first game of the season. Support the boys, support the new ownership. I'm not sure what I think of the whole fun house thing, but that was a really cool tifo that the Shed did, and a banner as well that was unveiled. And I think the flag on the Matthew Harding was changed a little bit as well. Had like a Bowley American flag kind of deal happening. So, nice to see everybody embrace that, all the positivity. Bowley in attendance, of course. Our record with him in attendance is not great, but I'm sure we will improve upon that if we continue playing like we did today. And it's just great to see the team executing exactly what Tuchel was talking about pregame. Focus, concentration, effort, all that stuff, preventing Spurs counters before they start, which is as that's what Tuchel was saying, and that's precisely what we did. The one time we didn't, Reece James took the yellow card for the team, and funnily enough, Tuchel brought that up after the game as well, as in that was a correct call, in contrast to all the incorrect calls that were to follow.
Yeah. A lot of those talking points, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Look, the three of us were lucky enough to follow Chelsea through their preseason tour. It wasn't great. The fact that we are sitting here in the second week of the season and talking about such a cohesive tactical plan with this squad, I think it's almost like I can't believe that the team got their shit together this fast into the season. We were thinking it'd probably be like September by the time this team starts to click. I think what plays in our favor, Nick, is that it was Spurs. Therefore, the sense of occasion is elevated. It's heightened. The player's going to, have extra energy, I think, in the tank. But the organizational plan was there. You guys said, this team in preseason was dog shit. Like it was disjointed, that no one seems motivated. Like, we've gotten business done. Raheem, like, phenomenal up top. But, like, it really kind of comes back to Reece James is I think, one of our most pivotal players in the entire squad, because he really sets the tone for a lot of people. And he's also just so fucking good that he's a weapon in defense and attack.
Yeah, I mean, Reece had a pretty exceptional day out. Obviously, we talked about the yellow card, but everything else was roses. Statman Dave with the numbers here: 93 touches, 92% pass accuracy, 66% or 66 completed passes, which is the most. 5 crosses, 4 of 5 accurate long balls, 3 of 3 tackles won, 2 of 2 aerial duels won, 1 of 1 successful dribbles, 1 key pass, 1 big chance created, 1 goal. Yeah, I mean, if Kai Havertz literally knees the ball in the fucking net, he would have had an assist too. And
such a good cross. That cross was unbelievable.
Unreal. I mean, it's not like his body wasn't even turned towards he like whipped his foot around. It was so strange to watch again, but it's a beautiful cross. I mean, he just went out and put on a fucking show today. And Peasy, I know he's been like working extra hard on the fitness stuff, since coming back from the States. He's been posting a lot of that on his Instagram, but it's apparently working.
Well, this is what we know Reece can do, and it's nice to see him deliver. I think for him and the rest of the team, it's kind of instructive in how much difference just concentration levels and effort can really make at this point, because there's so much parity nowadays at the top end of the league. Not necessarily winning games doesn't necessarily come down to talent level, because everybody's talent level is exceptionally high. I mean, Reece James is the best right wing back in, the entire land, but Conte's team has pretty good wing backs as well. And that, considering that we played him off the pitch in that aspect of the game, that's great. But more kind of positively for the future is we know that if we put in the effort that we put in today, we can easily win basically against anybody when we want to. So if we can follow up on this in the games going forward, we should be doing all right.
All right. Look, I think that we have a lot to build off of, though, just with Reece. One thing that I want to talk about with you guys is like going back to captaincy. When you see him play two different positions today, get involved offensively, defensively, to me, I'm feeling that he's setting the tone for a lot of the players, that they're like taking the page from him. And I think that if he can fill this role, because Jorginho's not very loud, N'Golo Kante's not very loud, and they're kind of like your captain. Silva's loud, but like for whatever reason, like I can't really pinpoint it. I just feel like he's got this quiet aura about him that everyone really just kind of looks to him right now to see how the day's going to go. I even felt like Mace was kind of feeding off of Reece today as well.
I mean, I think that does happen. Like, obviously, you're going to kind of default to the guy who's having the day, right? Like, and I think have that person lead from the front. But the captaincy is more than just how you play. The captaincy is about how you represent Chelsea Football Club out in the world. It's about staying after and signing every little kid's shirt. It's about press appearances and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm not sure. I'm not saying no. I'm just not sure that he has as much of as Mason does, personally. Now,
that is true.
I see a perfect captain, vice captain for either one of those two, but it's clear that those are the two. In 3 or 4 years, like they're going to be captain, vice captain at Chelsea. They shared a pretty long embrace after his goal today. It makes you think that they're on the same page, Peasy. And for me, I think Reece is a phenomenal on-field leader, and I want him to focus his attention there.
Yeah. I think Reece is kind of the quiet character from what we know and what we've seen, and and I think in a way, when he does show all this emotion on the pitch, it really actually, that's why it inspires everybody, because it's like, oh shit, it's the quiet guy, normally, super mellow and chill, but he's into it. So we better like step up our game as well. And you could say, like you're saying, Mount and James captain, vice captain. In a way, it's kind of the old Terry Lampard dynamic where JT was the loud, on pitch, hard on sleeve, England's brave and all that leader. And then Lampard was kind of the more quiet guy, leading more by example. And I could definitely see that. And I mean, if we get him signed to the new contracts, hopefully soon at some point. And that's definitely, I would expect that to happen as soon as, Azpilicueta and Jorginho's time winds down at the club, which might be, next 12 months.
Well, I was going to say, too, like, I think the celebrations today made it pretty apparent to me that there's already been some work on that, on the contract front there. I know that the reports have been that they have not had any contacts or whatever. I don't think you go full bore into it like that if there isn't something already in the works.
Yeah, but you also don't spend your entire life at a club and then not celebrate a goal.
No, I get it.
With like, even, I understand, there's definitely good vibes. Like I think, headlines kind of make it like, oh my God, Reece James has signed a new contract and Real Madrid are, interested. But I hope they are, because everybody should be
He's
interested.
one of the best players in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I think I don't think we have anything to worry about in this regard, from especially with the new ownership and they realize what these two players mean to the club and what we mean to them. So I'm not really worried about this, and it's great to see those good vibes expressed in an emotion on the pitch and everybody responding to it.
And this is why we want to see him at right wing back, because of what he provides from that place. He's so much more dangerous. Understand they made the sacrifice for the team, putting him at right center back today. But look, when Naz tweets from the Opta Joe that he's got the 15 goals in 28 appearances in the Premier League, starting all the way back last season, that's the most of any defender. That's right, Trent Alexander-Arnold fans. Best right back in the league, damn near Europe. You're going to have to fight me to tell me who's going to be better. He just does it all. And we're so lucky to have him and have him brought up here.
He was a freak in defense today, too. I mean, the dude was covering Heung-min Son like crazy. And Heung-min Son is one of the best athletes in the Premier League, full stop. I mean,
that was the wrinkle we played, was putting James on Son and having Conte drop back to help him out. And I mean, you barely heard from any of those guys until the very end.
Well, you could tell that Harry Kane was really uncomfortable, with it too. He had no outlet to go to, and Reece was just there all the time.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Well, another person in defense, Koulibaly, brought the thunder today. His stats from Statman Dave: 91% pass accuracy, 82 touches, 63 passes completed, 6 or 8 long balls completed, 5 tackles, 3 shots, an interception, a clearance, and a damn well taken goal. Very suited to the Premier League. No cramps today, DPZ.
Yeah, working on that conditioning just all week. It's he's carrying on the Rudiger Silva thing. We noticed that last year we scored 8 goals against Spurs, and 4 of them were scored by Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger. And one of those guys isn't here anymore, but now we have K2 over here and stepping right in. And what actually surprised me is we were expecting great defending. Obviously, we followed this guy for 6 years or however long to sign him, but his passing is actually really, really good, and better than Rudiger's, I would like to say. And basically anybody that we've had play left center back since Conte instituted a 3-man defense for us, because Cahill was never very comfortable there, and Rudiger was just a slight upgrade in terms of passing. And Koulibaly, man, he's got a whole range of passes. He can go long, he can do a first time, left, right, inside, outside foot. It's fantastic. And he even had a wayward shot, and then he had a fantastic volley, and then he almost had a second one that I really thought he was going to connect on that as well, but it was just a little too early. And
he had the tongue out goal celebration. He attacked the knee slide
celebration.
like he attacks a tackle, Nick.
That was
dude, I love this guy. I just think he is the shit. Like, his long balls are so pinpoint accurate, and the 2 that he didn't complete today I think they were bad runs, frankly. It's like when a quarterback leads a receiver and leads them to where they should be, and then they don't make it. Like, that's how it kind of felt to me. He attempted a few against Everton that didn't go that great last week, and you're like, nah, maybe, but this week, phenomenal. And that was against some wingbacks too. I mean, the field was very wide from an occupation standpoint. So yeah, I think he is so calm on the ball, and I think that just gives everyone around him confidence. Adds to the fact that Cucurella and him started to develop a passing relationship this week, and you're in a really good spot. The goal was phenomenal. And
do you think that was drawn up?
I don't know.
Is he your number one volleyer?
We tried it twice, so I would want to say there was some intent to it, because Cucurella always hit his outswingers long towards far post, and once he mishit it and got flicked on, also to the far post, where Koulibaly was always there. So I think that was in some ways a design.
I would say yes, because of when they showed the aerial view, he moved back a little bit. It looked like he was staging himself.
Yeah.
To not be seen, I'm just gonna kind of wander back here.
He did the hang back run. Everybody else crashed the net, and no, I think there was a design there.
What a finish! I mean, good Lord, that was absolutely fantastic. I mean, the guy's just a mountain, and we are very, very lucky to have him at the club.
Yeah, it's that the technical ability is, I guess we were not really that aware of it. I can speak, but he's it's already very impressive, and hopefully more to come.
So this is the time I'll bring up credit to the recruitment team right now. I know a lot of people are involved, but to go get him and not like have given up on it or whatever is great business. Immediately has adapted to the team, to the league. Like, great. That everyone around the league is going to say that was great business. What did we pay? 35 million for him in the last year of his contract.
40
30.
years.
Yeah, 30, 31. Like, immediate on-field success means great. You stamp it. Approved. Great. The next one is Cucurella, and he's already Premier League proven. Got that. We knew that. Paid a shit ton of money for him. He was built for this left wingback system. His motor, the way he's reading it, and again, he's coming out of a wingback system, but like, again, instant positive impact, Nick. Cucurella has stepped in, and it's like he's been playing with Tuchel since last January. A full preseason? What's that?
He was fucking fantastic today. I mean, I'll do the whole stats again. 100% of long passes completed. That's 3 of 3. 93% pass accuracy. 37% or 37 passes completed. 3 crosses, 1 key pass, 1 assist. That was to Koulibaly, obviously.
Those were only his first half numbers. That means it got even more.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. That was just his first half. Yeah. But
no, you're good.
He was phenomenal. And it was really the pressing that made everything work today, PZ. I mean, he was the Energizer Bunny on that side. He forced a lot of what Spurs were doing from like a defensive standpoint to sit back in that shell because they couldn't get out with him patrolling that side. It was crazy.
Yeah. You know, I mean, we lamented before kickoff that Marcus Alonso was no longer available to play against Spurs, and you know, that's 6 goals over the many years, 3 goals and 3 assists that we were directly losing, and he always seemed to step it up against Spurs. So it's great to see that his replacement is perhaps even more dangerous, not just in the attacking sense, but in being able to shut down, defensively track back, take some corners without taking height out of the penalty area, which was always a concern when Alonso was on corner duty, which wasn't that often, but in fairness. No, it's Cucurella. I mean, there's some narrative around him in coming from Brighton, and people are like kind of surprised that he has he's calm under passing, you know, pressure and all that. And people forget that he was literally, you know, developed in Barcelona's academy, and just because he went to Getafe and then over to Brighton, like, you don't lose that. The man's comfortable in possession. He's quick. He's vision. He's superb technically. He takes a really nice corner and has amazing hair.
I would just kind of add to, like, for me, brought the energy, and it was consistent all the way through. There was no drop off.
Right.
I would say, like, because we've got to see a lot of Ben Chilwell over the last couple of years, like, I think Chilwell is more polished in the final third. I think that he's a little bit more ready for that moment for me. Now, that might not be for everyone, but I really, really like what Cucurella did defensively today. And against teams with a lot of athleticism up front, I think he's an automatic start because he's not going to lose that sort of energy or closing down or pressing. And it drove the entire impetus for the game today. I mean, we pressed the absolute shit out of Spurs. We made them very uncomfortable, and he led that charge. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I think the one thing's missing is just kind of drifting into the area, which is what Alonso was amazing at, and arriving on the far post with height or with the technique and the ability to finish. And we kind of lacked that, and Chilwell kind of picked that up from Alonso last year, and that's when our really good spell, like against Juventus, happened and all that. So I'd like to see Cucurella develop that in a way so that we stop crossing to Tower of Power Raheem Sterling at the back post. Not that Cucurella is like a massive specimen. He's like 5'9". They're all pretty small, but arriving, that makes a big difference as opposed to just kind of standing there. So
sorry, this is a little annoying. I just was looking at some more stats and things and realized that there were 2 red cards in this match. So everyone who's yelling at me from earlier in the stats and I said no red cards, I lied. There was obviously 2.
Do
Cucurella
those
had
count for the official stats?
I think so. They went into the referee's book. How about that? Cucurella had 97 touches, the most out of anyone for Chelsea. Reece James was number 2. That just shows you again how important those wide these wingbacks are to the system. Mount on 90, Koulibaly on 82 just shows you who was really involved. Because Nick even had in here the Statman Dave pointed out the fact that Cucurella and Mount were so active on that left-hand side. They had 40 passes between the two of them. Cucurella to Mount 22 times, Mount to Cucurella 18 times. Like, they were just swarming people on the left side. And I think that, Everton, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm saying that, Spurs, they made Romero and Royale and Kulusevski's lives miserable. I mean, they pickpocketed Kulusevski on that wing, which opened up the second goal. And that was, again, relentless harassing and just not letting those players turn on that left side. They had nothing going down that side because of the two of them.
They were completely uncomfortable. If it wasn't Mount pressing, it was Cucurella, and then they'd run into Mount, who had tracked back to replace him on that left wing, which I thought was brilliant. They really interchanged well today, and they knew when to replace each other on that side too, which is, again, it's just Tommy tactics over there making it all happen.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, the other person of this partnership is Mason PZ. Again, Statman Dave saying he had an amazing game. 90 touches, like I said, third most on the team. 84% pass accuracy. 26 final third passes completed, which is the most. He won 7 of his 10 tackles. He had 2 successful dribbles out of 3, a key pass, a block. A top performance for Mason. It's kind of a little bit of a quiet performance for him. He definitely had to do the dirty work for the team. And as far as like positioning and tactics, I don't think he had many shots or maybe like offensive contributions. But what he created for everyone around him, I think was the much bigger effect.
I can't believe you're, pushing the quiet narrative. This was the problem with Mason Mount a couple of years ago. Everybody thought he didn't do anything when he did all these things, and that weren't reflecting necessarily on the score sheet.
29 tackles I'm sorry, that was for the team. He had 7 tackles, which is the most from any Chelsea player.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm saying,
7.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm agreeing. I'm doubling down with you.
Fantastic stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the fantastic stuff. But unfortunately, you look at the box score or whatever you want to call it. And it's not going to be reflecting, and people will be like, well, Mount didn't do anything. There's no assists, no goals, did he have a shot? And I'm not even sure he had a shot. But like you're saying, he was absolutely crucial to what we were trying to accomplish in terms of high pressing, in terms of linking play. He popped up on the left, he popped up on the right, he linked with Cucurella, he covered for him, he dropped over to the right, he linked with James, he linked with Sterling. I mean, this is what's prime Mount in a way, other than maybe popping in with a goal. But this is the stuff that we need from him. And it put the other attackers' performances into for me, it put them into kind of a magnifying glass, in that I don't think they were necessarily up to his level in what they were contributing. And I'd like to see them step up to that level. And if they do, whether it's Sterling or Havertz or people we haven't really seen much this season so far in Pulisic or Broja or Ziyech, even if he stays, this is what we need. And if everybody can play at a Mount's level, I think we will be absolutely fantastic.
Seconded.
Other notables. Credit that Ruben can start as a right wing back and then pivot into a central midfield pairing of 2. Those literally couldn't be more different than themselves. He looked good. Grant Smith tweeted that. Massive fan of Tuchel's Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Oh, no.
Hey.
His last 12 months have been brilliant, and he has massive role to play this season in midfield and in this hybrid role. Again, center mid, box-to-box 8, or a right wing back.
I appreciate that we spent many years trying to figure out what Ruben Loftus-Cheek's best position is, and then we just kind of gave up and said, let's just have him play all the positions.
Because he was like an attacking 10 on Maurizio Sarri.
He's fine. Center forward, center back, right back.
He was brilliant today. Like, he was my man in the first half. I thought that he was really energetic, pressed high, had great ball control, had great body control, got fouled a bunch of times, interchanged with Reece really well. if we get a performance out of him like that in big games, I mean, imagine what he's going to do to the minnows of the league on that side. And I hope he does get a fair amount of minutes over there, because I think he's a real weapon for us on that right side.
I mean, he should at this point. I mean, I obviously Azpilicueta, we re-signed him, but he's not really going to play a big part, I don't believe, on the pitch itself. So I think, Loftus-Cheek proving over and over that he's not only a viable right wing back, but like an actually good option for us there, whether it's James or Azpilicueta behind him. I think we'll see that a lot, unless we get somebody in. But
he also gives you that mismatch, especially with height. I mean, if you look at all the other wing backs and outside backs, I mean, he's definitely going to tower over Davies, Sessegnon, and so he creates that.
And he's
outlet.
never afraid to take on his man. He's led the team many times in take-ons and even in seasons, not just in games. And we need that from people out wide. And sometimes we don't get it, but he's, having recovered from his Achilles thing, that took him a minute. But since then, he's not lacked the confidence or the endeavor to do that. So it's great to see.
Yeah, N'Golo, huge boost until he went down with his hamstring, another non-contact muscle injury.
Not good.
Tuchel saying that he feels the pain quite strongly, so it's not good. So back to wrapping him up in cotton until he's needed after the World Cup. Kai, on the other hand, I know there's a lot of focus on him, and obviously goals is. I mean, if we find someone that can just bang in goals, but they have to fit Tuchel's system, right? It can't be a Lukaku where they just wait for the ball to come to them and they one-touch finish. Like, they have to press, they have to be mobile, they have to have link-up play. But if you find that person, like, it's game over. But again, I think Kai showed his flexibility within a fluid system today, Nick, and how he didn't score is super unlucky. It was a good save from Reece on the first shot. The Reece James cross, I think he hit his heel, and that's why it didn't go in. But I'm feeling better, especially if he's technically on the wing to start with Raheem down the middle.
Yeah, I still haven't figured that out, by the way. I think that's kind of an odd thing. I mean, I understand what Raheem brings in that role, but I think you kind of lose some of what Kai does best up top when he's not played in that central area. And so, I don't know. I need him to start scoring soon, but he did grow into the game. I thought his interchange was good for the most part, and he started to really fight from the front. I mean, he got into it with Romero a couple of times. I think he really shows character in these big games, Peasy, and hopefully we get more of that with the added goals.
Oh, character! NBC Sports is going to absolutely love him. They love character.
It's my tryout right now.
Hashtag
do you think
character.
I got it?
Oh
do you
my
think
God.
I got the thing?
No, I lamented Kai's performance on my less frequently used Twitter account, as in what happened to my man King Kai, because he's been kind of missing in preseason, which a lot of people were, but yeah, two big misses today, and I mean, I guess credit to the goalkeeper from our resident goalkeeper for making that save, but I'd like to see him finish without giving the opportunity for the goalkeeper to make that save. And then the second one is just, I mean, what are you going to do? It's a big miss. It's a sitter, and you got to score those. In fairness, there are other people who missed big chances, like Sterling missed basically an open net that you expect him to hit it, especially coming over as the, de facto, or is it somebody billed as like the great finisher from Manchester City, who are great big hope to actually get some quality finishing in this team, and he missed an open net for me. So
Ruben missed that header too.
Yeah, I'm not saying like Havertz was alone in it, and he definitely grew into the game, which was good to see. And he got into it with Romero a couple of times. For some reason, he doesn't seem to get the calls that other people get, and I'm not sure why that's happening. And it's not even just Taylor, whoever was in charge today. Like, this seems to be a thing with Havertz. Maybe this is his style, his kind of lackadaisical, his kind of his resting, disappointed face. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, there's good signs for Havertz to build from this game. but he definitely needs a goal, and we need him to start scoring because we don't have any other striker. I mean, Broja's getting, scrub minutes off the bench at this point, and I doubt he's going to get anything more than cup minutes unless injuries crisis strikes. So,
well, unless he takes his chance, those 4 valuable minutes when he gets 6 added minutes of stoppage time, that turns into 10. So I will just quickly note that I thought Mendy, again, is someone who is a shadow of himself in preseason, looks much, much sharper. Not the finished product, not the Champions League clean sheet record setter, but a huge step in the right direction, which was much, much needed from this group.
Very unlucky today, obviously, of which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah. Dan Dormer tweeting, the way Tottenham supporters are reveling in nicking a point off Chelsea, assisted by terrible calls by the ultimate chaos agent Anthony Taylor, after being outclassed on the pitch, shows you the levels. We're fuming, they're celebrating, to which one Nick Verlaney responded, we are levels above Conte's Spurs levels. And I think that's kind of the situation. Even JJ Watt was tweeting about it. And Jake Paul was getting involved. I mean, everybody came out for this match. It was the weirdest group of people that plugged into this one.
Can we not big up Jake Paul as a Chelsea supporter?
I don't think he's not, and I don't think we're big upping him. I'm just saying it was
everybody. Did we not acknowledge Jake Paul?
Okay, that's a different comment. That's fair. So
we're better than they are, flat out.
Even Conte said it. Said it. It's it's facts. What are you gonna do?
Everyone's preseason darlings. We just went out there and wiped the floor with them, and we're very unlucky to not come away with a win. We're better than they are.
There are several predictions where Spurs were not unironically billed as potential dark horses for the title race, a la Conte's Chelsea in 2017.
Yeah, the difference was we could defend. They cannot.
It's really based on today.
So the next one up would be the refereeing display, lack of
what was the
whatever
display?
you want to put it, and how it changed the outcome. So obviously Chelsea could defend set pieces, do some things better, without a doubt. But there's just with VAR, there's really no excuse and there's no hiding anymore. And when the Premier League and the FA and the PGMOL want to talk about how they're so good at these things, you can't have this many incidents in one match go missed or just decided upon that they were not worthy of taking action. And it's a genuine problem for the quality and kind of credibility of the league. So obviously Anthony Taylor would we say he's kind of like the new de facto number 1 in the league?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
he's the FIFA referee. He's supposed to get the World Cup.
So just want to put that on the record, make sure we kind of understand, amongst the ranks. It's not like we had.
This is as good as it gets.
It's not like we had Tierney today, right? He allowed persistent fouling from Højbjerg, who, by the way, was voted man of the match on a statistical basis. Sessegnon and Betancourt. The fouls on Kai, that was a professional foul to stop a counterattack, was actually deemed not even a foul. And then they go down and score, although it's not the same action. The Højbjerg goal itself should have been ruled offsides. Richarlison was obstructing Mendy's view. Potential handball in the lead up. You definitely blame Jorginho for getting the ball stuck out his feet.
Yeah.
The fact that there's 2 clear and obvious incidents in that play, and the first one being that Anthony Taylor was staring at that tackle on Kai, and we just ran down the pitch, he scored.
Right there. I mean, the assistant referee should have waived it.
It was covered.
I would say from Taylor's angle, that tackle actually looked okay. Because you could see that Kulusevski's, was it Kulusevski? His action, Bendacour's action made the ball move, but he literally went through Havertz's leg to get to the ball, and that's a foul. That's literally the definition of a foul. And then you add in the fact that it was in from behind, we were on a counter, it's at least a yellow, and talk about it from there. Now, I don't think VAR can review that because the
assistant has to waive it.
The implementation of VAR is weird, and the assistants were actually both assistants were kind of useless the entire match. Let's add that in there for refereeing incompetence. But then the fact that they actually looked at the goal on VAR review where Richarlison is literally in between the ball being struck and Mendy standing in his goal, and then somehow it's deemed that he's not interfering with play standing in the offside position. I don't really care what the rules are these days. Like that's as clear an interference goal it gets without him actually touching the ball. He even makes a movement to it. It was absolutely baffling. And I don't know if because there was handbags afterwards and the referees were like, you know, just letting it go, or like Mike Dean was just asleep and he's, just a carcass there at this point because he's retired. It's all just weekend at Bernie's anyway. I mean, like, what are you doing? It just, I am lost for words. There's no explanation as to what is happening here. We say incompetence, but like, there has to be a baseline level of competence here where you've been a referee for however long Mike Dean has been a referee. Like, you've seen this situation a million times. This is so easy and so clear of a call. And somehow he lets it go. I don't understand.
Then you get the Cucurella thing for the last goal.
Well, yeah.
I mean, and so like this is where everyone's losing their mind, and rightfully so. I don't know if it's a red card. Okay, like I don't know if it raises to that level of violent conduct. I probably, if I were a referee, would have given that because it is so outside of the realm of play, and it's snapping someone's neck. Like, you've seen this happen in football before, where like you can bring someone to the ground pretty easily with their hair, and there's a lot of vertebrae in your neck that cannot.
I mean, yeah,
suffer.
It doesn't matter what you drag him down with. It's a foul.
There's intent.
Right. At least the baseline point of it is it's a fucking foul and it's a free kick to Chelsea and the game's over. Like, how you don't even come up with a foul for that is outrageous. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like when Harry Maguire chokeslammed Dave to the ground a couple of years ago, and that now infamous photo, and the foul was not given, and you're just like, what? Like, it's a penalty. Like, and how is it possible?
It adds in that on the replay you can see Taylor literally looking
right there.
He's in a fantastic position. That's all you want from your referee. Be in a good position. The assistant is supposed to be looking at the corner. Like, what are you looking at? You should be looking at people in there.
You're not even going to go over to the fucking monitor. Like, there isn't a like, hey man.
We established that Mike Dean is not doing anything at the VAR monitor. He's just sitting there, just being propped up.
I don't know, man. I know it's shitty to bitch about refereeing, but like this was an exceptionally bad performance, and it's not just one call. The persistent fouling from Bentancur and Sessegnon and Højbjerg, like they fouled 9 or 10. Like, it was so obvious what they were doing. Like, how do you not get? It says
in the stats right there. We got nine fouls called each, and let's assume that all fouls were called. That should have been called, which obviously is not the case. But like 9 versus 9, but somehow we get 3 yellows and they get 0 yellows. Like, that's not a statistically likely outcome of this situation if you're gonna evenly or fairly referee a game. So it's I don't like to attribute any nefarious intent on referees, and I think it's just extreme incompetence, and the system is not set up for the referees to succeed, if I want to give them credit, because the emphasis is never on let's get this call right regardless of what it takes. It's more like, let's make sure that the referee doesn't look bad, or let's make sure we don't hurt his feelings by correcting his call and all this. And now, of course, all the focus is going to be on Tuchel going ballistic in his post-match on the incompetent refereeing. So he gets his fines, he gets his suspension, and then Taylor's back out there next weekend, just doing whatever, because the referees are gods and they're infallible, when our emphasis should be on making sure that they have all the tools and we give them all the tools to make the correct calls.
They have them. Like, the rest of the world has the same fucking tools. They use them way better.
When I say give them the tools, I mean, like, you give them to use the tools. Like, we have the tools, but we set up the system to be inefficient or inadequate because we have like some image to protect from the referees, because
which is wild, because obviously it's
ridiculous.
Yeah, the quality of the match is far more important than any like ego stroke.
Any other video review system you look at, be that NFL, tennis. It doesn't matter. Like, it's not about the referee being right or like protecting his ego.
Getting
it's
the
about
call right.
It's about getting the call right. That's literally supposed to be your number one goal, and it isn't. Now here, it's making sure that poor Anthony Taylor doesn't come off looking bad. Because
but now he comes off looking horrific, and that's all anyone's going to talk about.
Nobody's going to care in a week.
It's a billion-pound league.
Again.
It's a billion-pound league and 10-cent refereeing.
He's
like,
done it many times.
If you are the Premier League, how you allow this to continue to tarnish your brand is beyond me. Like, there's not one fucking person in the Premier League going, perhaps we should just go hire all the best referees for our league. It will cost us like a nickel a referee in comparison to what we have now, and we get to kick these guys the fuck out. Like, if I were looking at today's performance, like, yeah, it's good for the narrative, but it's not good for the league. And it may cost Chelsea or Spurs millions of dollars at the end of the year, right? And it will probably cost Chelsea millions of dollars at the end of the year if they swap places or if, Chelsea goes on a bat. Like, it's just mind-blowing. And I know it's shitty to, like, point out one or two people because they're all relative degrees of bad, but give me a fucking break.
Well, I mean,
today.
it's just too much. It's really too much to overcome. Like, it's not just Taylor. It's all the referees are bad. If this guy is supposed to be the best,
the PGMOL, get him the fuck out.
This guy is supposed to be the best in the country, and this is what England puts forward to the world stage to go to the World Cup because this guy is amazing. But like,
I hope he doesn't get invited. By the way.
Well, there's actually a petition to stop Anthony Taylor from refereeing Chelsea matches.
Petition.
That's I hear
just silly nonsense.
But what it is it's just like making it a talking point. It's the only thing that fans can really do, to like feel like they are trying to do something peasy. Obviously, the PGA, the PGMOL, the FA aren't going to be like, oh my gosh, there's 75,000 signatures. Yeah. We should really look at this. Like, obviously not.
Our ways.
But it's the one way that fans can, kind of make their voices heard, and you can like put like physical numbers attached to it as well.
Yeah, and it's not just Taylor though. It's just the whole system. And Nick, like you were saying, like you don't want to be bitching about refereeing or whatever, but like the margins are so small, the quality is so good between both teams. I mean, Spurs are a good team, whether we want to laugh at them or not. They're a good team. Conte is an amazing coach. We know this. They're well drilled. Like, games are decided by minor differences, minor margins, and a lot of times the margins are these referees making really, really bad calls. And this is what billions, millions of dollars are depending on. And your points, like we scored 2 goals, we gave up 2 goals literally because refereeing was bad. Like, that's a lot to overcome. We can't score 5 goals every game just because Anthony Taylor decided to have a really bad game to give 2 goals to the opposition and collect the 3 points.
Well, thank God we scored today.
That's the pre-match talk from Tuchel. Like, all right, boys, we're going 2 goals down early. Just remember, we have to score 5 today. You're like, what? Why do I have to overcome this?
It's Anthony Taylor. Like, just assume it's -2 already. So let's get 2 so we can get away with a point here, boys. Yeah. Like, this is ridiculous.
So yeah, like I said, it is what it is. Just us trying to get it out there. Chelsea Youth had a funny retweet of that, saying among those who've already signed are Thomas Tuchel, Tom Tuchel, Mr. T Tuchel, Tommy Tuchel, Tommy Tactics, Thomas T, Tommy T, and many other aliases.
Where's transfer czar Thomas Tuchel? He's my favorite Thomas Tuchel.
So anyways, refereeing discussion over, but like, my word, especially by the way, Nottingham Forest West Ham VAR worked, but the next match it didn't. I mean, it actually didn't really work because the handball was only a yellow card. So
I mean, there was some weirdness in that one too, but like
less weirdness. So there's
in the scale of weirdness. There was Nottingham Forest game, and then there was the Chelsea game.
Clearly, Mike Dean doesn't have the endurance to do back-to-back matches. The man needs a nap.
You just gotta turn his chair from one, monitor to the other. The man's just like a statue at PGMOL headquarters or whatever they are.
Let's get the defibrillator ready between matches. Like, shock him again.
The weekend at Bernie's PGMOL edition 2022. Let's wheel him out, boys.
All right. So last but certainly not least is the Tuchel v Conte fight. 3 incidents happened this one. This is actually like kind of wild. Obviously, Conte provoked Tuchel by celebrating in his technical area. They were full on chest to chest. Absolutely in each other's business.
It was more like chest to like neck.
Forehead.
True.
Chest to chest.
You get where I'm going.
Come on, man.
Then obviously Tuchel ran down the touchline past the Spurs bench for a Reece James goal. And then lastly, the handshake heard around the world. This is well done, Nick. Red cards ensure that both miss the next match. Tuchel more than forthright about what he thinks. And then we even talked about it, right? Antonio Conte. This is surprising to me. I don't think I follow him on Instagram.
Didn't know he was on Instagram.
I knew he
Antonio
was
great
on.
to follow on Instagram.
Yeah, but like this is extremely petty from a Premier League manager, especially when the post-match interviews were like, "Oh no, it's all cool. It's all cool." Yeah. Oh, but I'm gonna go gaslight on Instagram now.
He said, "Lucky I didn't see you. Making you trip over would have been well deserved." And then he did the Italian version as well. Look, man.
I mean, he learned from Willian. It's you gotta get with the crying emojis and get your shots in on Instagram.
Yeah, it's so dumb. And I will say, just the handbags after the fact. Tuchel would work this dude. Like, he is 6'4" and would just like put his hand on his head and let him swing away until he got tired and then just knock him over. I mean, like, this would be such a non-fight. I don't even know what we'd do. It'd be like one of those Jake Paul fights where like he brings in some washed up bum who's tired. Sorry, I had to do it from earlier. And it just, I don't know, man. It just is weird and dumb. And like I will say, you don't want to see this. It adds to the narrative. Like, this is dumb and petty and stupid. And just I wish
go back to the tie flipping between Mourinho and Wenger. Come on.
Yeah, those were the good old days.
Are you glad though that Tuchel didn't back down and like stepped into the arena twice? Yes. Because obviously Conte was goading, and Tuchel was like, "Fuck that! I'm in your shit now. Like, are you still goading?" And then at the end of the match, Tuchel didn't let go. He pulled like that trick out or that play out of the book. PZ was like, "I'm not letting go till you look me in the eyes and you." I mean,
that was the playground shit right there. That's
and
just
the
funny.
look on Conte's face, he was rattled.
I really wish you would have done the fake handshake and then done the like, "Ooh, cool, gotcha."
Yeah, I'm not really sure that the last thing was kind of weird, and I guess maybe expected. I don't know. Conte, the passion and all that. We know Conte, and he's always presented this cool, calm in the media. But he had his little thing with Mourinho, and I'm sure he had plenty of other little things with other people. But Tommy tactics. The man played football himself. I'm sure he's got plenty of passion. And before he came to Chelsea, there was always plenty of kind of narratives about his hot-headedness in training or on the sidelines. So like, I wouldn't expect him to back down from anybody, especially from somebody that he can just literally hold at an arm's length and not have anything. The whole scene reminded me of the movie Fight Club, where the two characters talk about what historical character would they fight, and one of the guys says Abraham Lincoln, because the guy is like 6'6", has a really long reach for a scrawny guy, and that's our man Tuchel. You don't want to fight the scrawny, tall, lanky dudes.
No, I mean it. It was just like when Mourinho came back as the United manager or the Spurs manager. You know exactly what they're gonna do. You fucking saw the playbook from inside, right? Yeah. Like, you know exactly what's gonna happen. It was why, like, when we did all those episodes about Mourinho back in the day, I was like, do not fucking fall for it. Don't fall for it. You already know the play before they run it, and this was exactly that. And look, it is petty. I'm glad that, if that was going to be the scenario, I'm glad our guy fought. And I'm sure the team rallied around that too, to see, your coach get in the mixer a little bit. I think it's a really important leadership thing. But I also kind of think at the end that old TT thought it was a lot of fun and just kept going.
Oh, yeah. No, he definitely was playing into it. Like, he's just smirking there. You could see him on the cameras too. Yeah. After all that was done, he was just walking off the pitch with a smirk. So, I mean, that part is fun, and I think they both kind of just played it off at the end, whether that's actually what actually happened. But that I don't necessarily think that should be the focus. That's fine. I'm okay with it, with all of this, and I've always kind of been okay with it. And a lot of this always gets played up But this time we have refereeing to talk about, so this one isn't really making the headlines as much. But it's fine. It's fine.
Apparently, Conte said he enjoyed the fracas at full time, but he now says it would be a shame if both of them were to miss their next matches due to this event.
Oh, there's no way they're getting suspended.
I know, but he's trying. He's trying to.
Sorry, boys.
Yeah, make it happen.
Take the week off. How about everyone just chill out for a little bit, huh?
Yeah. I think just to wrap on that one is that obviously Tuchel went hard in his post-match presser. PZ kind of brought it up. He very emphatically said both goals should not have stand. Only one team deserved to win. That was us. I don't know how many tactical fouls Højbjerg and Betancourt did today. There was a clear foul on Kai. Richarlison was offside. And since can we pull hair in a football match? I think it'll be one game and a fine. But
we'll see. Sometimes we'll see how fast they come down with all the suspensions. I'm sure there'll be fines for both teams for clearing benches and all this nonsense.
I'm sure they'll be really active now, but during the game, fuck it. Let's just let it go crazy. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, FA.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say he also said after the match. This is what PZ was saying earlier. I can't coach versus Leeds, but the referee can whistle the next game, and this is the kind of the point, right? When we were talking about the refereeing earlier, there is no fucking accountability with these cats. Right. They can have the worst day of their whole career, go out and be there the next match doing the same exact shit. There has to be more accountability. There has to be post-match press conferences for all of these referees. They have to explain what they saw. I don't care if it's an hour after so they can watch the match. We need accountability. And I think it's a completely fair comment, by the way, for him to go, look, fine me, suspend me, whatever you're going to do. Why does that cat not get that at the same point? Fair is fair.
He also said it would be cool if Anthony Taylor never refereed another Chelsea game again, which probably won't happen. But
Agreed.
Yeah, I think we talked about this, but there's zero accountability, zero repercussions. Maybe sometimes referees get demoted to the championship for one game. We've seen that happen a couple times. I think Liverpool might have been successful in getting some dude not to referee, possibly Anthony Taylor, because he is from Manchester area. But again, I think the focus the thing I don't like is the focus necessarily on Taylor, because I think he's an okay referee in terms of getting into the right positions, keeping up with play. We've seen that so many times. Older referees just 50 yards behind the play and trying to make a call. That's not going to happen. At least, he's in decent positions. He knows that. And it's fine that you make a bad call. We have all these systems in place to make sure that the bad calls get overturned or get a right call made. And we don't use them properly. And that's what the frustrating part is. I don't care who is in the middle, whether it's Taylor or Michael Oliver or Craig Pawson, or whoever some new guys might be. But, we have the technology, but we refuse to use it the correct way.
Drones and VR. That's how we solve this, PZ.
If I was one of these new fucking referees, by the way, that top spot is open.
Oh, yeah.
If you were
the bar is pretty fucking low.
Just
you don't have to
step over it, man. The last piece I'll say on this before we move on. The handshake is a meme now, all across the interwebs. This one is Antonio Conte looking shocked. Thomas Tuchel is a central London pub, and the handshake is a $6.50 pint of Guinness.
Yeah.
So
that would
well
shock
done.
me as well.
Well done to all the memes out there after the handshake. But we're moving on. I know we're running long on this one. We just have a little bit more to get through, and we'll finish it out.
Yeah, nothing too crazy here. But we didn't do the Dan of the match because Dan's on vacation. We didn't win. But We Are the Shed had some new artwork, which was quite fun. They did the Chelsea One Step Beyond motif, which was fantastic. It says, "Welcome to the House of Fun." Todd and Company. They had the American motif, like you said, the American style flag with the Chelsea lion and bull and everything. They're going really strong, really early, is all I'm saying.
I
was surprised.
This tifo is fucking phenomenal. It's the One Step Beyond. If you've seen the cover art for One Step Beyond before, it's unbelievably good.
It's like a madness tribute with Coley leading the line, Tuchel, Mount, Silva, James, Conte.
It's fantastic. N'Golo's the last one. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. These guys crushed it. I just wanted to give them a shout out. That's all.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of surprised at how how hard they're going in on Todd, but I love it.
It's Mr. Todd.
Yeah, Mr. T, Mr. Todd. Actually. And then Matt Law tweeting the program of Todd Boehly, chairman, and his note to the fans. Matt and Nasbil said, get the programs today. There's a lot of good content in it. And the quote that Matt pulled out from Boehly's note said, quote, there is a simple mantra that guides us every day. We want to win, end quote, which I think we are all thrilled to hear. He was post-match wearing a shirt that says, imagine not being Chelsea too. Like, dude, Todd's all in. I love it.
Did he?
Peasy, your boy Timo was back. He couldn't stay away.
My boy Timo.
Yeah.
It's your boy. We all know that. You've said it for years.
Yeah.
It's your boy.
Timo's adorable. I mean, come on.
he was just back watching the team. I thought it was a cool
not
thing.
To belabor the point, but when you log on to Twitter and everybody's like, Timo Werner has taken 36 minutes to break his duck for RB Leipzig, and you watch the highlight of the goal, and it's literally the goalkeeper just diving over the ball from 35 yards out. And you're like, well, that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if some Premier League goalkeepers would have delighted to shovel some goals in for him, like, it would have been so much nicer. Thanks.
If they would have grabbed some of the shots that were going over the bar, shuffled them in.
I mean,
it was such a comical. It was such a comical goal. God. He's going to score 100 goals in the Bundesliga this year.
At this rate, yes.
But it was cool. It was cool to see him back. I think that shows a lot. He cares. I
actually did not know that Timo was back. That's good to see. Yeah. Maybe it was left some of his stuff at the bridge, so he wanted to collect it. And he's like, well, might as well catch the game, boys.
You might be onto something there. A couple other cool things off the pitch that are happening. Aspi is his 450th appearance for the club, which even a week ago, or I guess maybe a week and a half ago, didn't seem like it was going to happen. We actually got to interview him as a part of his 300th appearance stuff that the club did, which is super cool. And he is looking to track down Petr Cech's 494 appearances. Big Pete is in 6th place on the all-time list, which puts Dave at 7. And then Emma Hayes has got 10 years at Chelsea. Absolute legend of a manager, Nick. She said, I wouldn't change a single second. My beautiful club and our amazing fans, thank you for making me feel like one of you. And that's coming from a lifelong Spurs fan.
Yeah, I mean, she's just the best. I mean, she is really the best. Her commentary is the best. Her coaching is the best. Her swearing at press conferences and on the PA system at Kings Meadow is the best. I adore Emma Hayes, and I hope that more of you post Women's Euros this summer are going to tune into the Chelsea women this year because they are stacking up.
All right, well, a quick look around the league. Villa beat Everton 2-1. Southampton leads drew 2-2. Arsenal pummeled Leicester City 4-2. Brighton Newcastle, an absolutely unthrilling 0-0 draw. Man City brushing aside Bournemouth 4-0. Wolves Fulham 0-0. Brentford Man United. As you would expect.
We will talk about that at the end. That's the point of conversation out of this grouping.
4-0. Nottingham Forest 1-0 over West Ham, who hit the bar twice, missed a penalty, and had a goal called not good. Chelsea 2, Tottenham 2, Liverpool Crystal Palace play tomorrow.
Your goal was not good.
That's what the VAR sign says. They put it up in the stadium. It says goal, not good.
Goal.
You have chosen poorly for your goal today.
That wasn't that good. We don't like
goal,
it.
Not good.
So give it a 2.
Right. Manchester United losing 4-0 to Brentford in the most comical fashion. They are in serious fucking trouble.
De Gea is in Bundesliga form.
He did. Timo's like, wait a minute. Yeah. What is this?
What was this when I was here?
They're trending towards like 14th, 15th place this season. Like that's, and like unlike Arsenal, you don't really see, like, Arsenal started this way last season, obviously, and infamously. You don't really see how they're going to get out of it. Like, their team isn't very good, and they're clearly not on the same page with their manager. It's going to be a weird. I hope the all or nothings with them this season. God, that would be fucking amazing. I don't know who it is.
Somebody in our company Slack was saying Eric Ten Hag, more like Eric 10 Weeks. So there you go.
I feel bad because I don't even think it's him. It's their horrific recruiting policy.
It's definitely not his fault. But
no, I know, but it's like
his choice was not good to go to Manchester United.
There you go. I see what you did there.
You know what? Dude's getting paid, and he's going to get a vacation, so he's going to get paid to not work in a little bit.
Yeah, I guess.
They're in serious trouble, though. I mean, their market, it's the worst kept secret in the world. Their marketing department runs their club, and it's led them to where they are.
That's
now.
The hilarious part is the marketing isn't really doing it anymore either. There was a big thing going around where like their share price from 10 years ago when they went public is actually lower than their IPO. Yeah. Which, like, if you just put your money into an account that tracks the stock market, you would have like quadrupled or quintupled your money just by putting it in the S&P tracking index. But like if you invested in Manchester United, you have less money.
Yep.
And you have that with inflation. So like, nice job, guys.
Yeah.
And you have to watch that.
Yeah.
And by the way, massive shouts to Brentford. That is an incredibly well-run club that followed a strategy, and they are fucking killing it. And they beat us badly last year. Yeah. 4-1 at the Bridge.
Oh, I refuse. I've blocked that clearly from my mind.
They've beaten some big teams.
They've
beaten some big teams. I appreciate what they do, and they're a fun team to watch. So a huge amount of credit to them is all I wanted to say at the end of this, because I can't imagine being like a 70-year-old Brentford fan, having not been in the first division for like your entire lifetime, and then to beat Manchester United 4-0.
Props to that's amazing. Forest too, back for first time in 30 years and first home game, get a win. Dean Henderson showing Manchester United what they're missing out on in goal.
He's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Declan Rice taking a really terrible penalty.
Terrible. Jesse Lingard showing them what money can buy. Sorry, West Ham. So the far too early table, Man City have all but won the league. 6 points plus 6 goal difference. Arsenal's second. Brentford third.
2 games.
Give them the title. On the fun side of it, Crystal Palace, who yet to play their second match against Liverpool, but they're in 18th, West Ham 19th, and United 20th, all on no points. United with a -5 goal difference, West Ham with a -3. Solid. At least West Ham has played Man City. United have not. So...
well, they're about to get they play Liverpool next week, so I don't think that's going to go very well.
You'd expect them to be 0-3 to start the season, exactly like Arsenal did
with a
year.
-10 goal diff. I think that's going to be the
see.
Issue.
I mean, obviously, Liverpool drew their first match. They play Palace on the Monday. I'm sure people kind of know what the result is by the time they get to this. But it's looking pretty shitty for Manchester United, which I think a lot of us can enjoy. But anyways, I think we'll wrap there.
Couldn't enjoy it.
DPZ, we appreciate you, man. It's good to have you on. It's good to see you this summer.
Always great to be back.
Love a little Spurs shithousery.
Oh yeah.
All right, well, go check out DPZ's personal blog. We ain't
sponsored by Trivago.
No sponsorship today.
No. Those bastards didn't extend you for a multi-year deal? What's happened? Trivago, get at us.
Be sure to book your next vacation on Trivago.
Yeah.
He even got a haircut now? Look, I mean, he's ready for prime time. That's what I'm saying.
All right. More content coming at you this week, Chelsea fans. There's going to be a lot of discussion about this one for a while. Leeds is up next, so might as well just double down on the controversy. So anyways,
Controversy.
Yeah, or controversy. Depends on where you're born and raised, okay?
Not good and controversy to end the show.
You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high.